A very good morning to all of you. Let us start our class. In the previous classes, we have discussed the topics of half-wave rectifier converter fed DC motor drive. Parallelly, a full-wave converter applied to DC motor drive. And in the previous class, we have completed three-phase full-wave rectifier also. That means we are come to the end of our second unit. There is only one topic is balanced. That is, just wait. That is a dual converter. With this topic, we are going to close our second unit. That is, theory part is going to be over and we will do the problems. Just to the screen. Just wait. My screen is completely visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Just okay. Right. Actually, because of our convenience, just I have visualized all the matter I have collected here. So, dual converter. Actually, up to now, we have discussed about a full wave rectifier or an half wave rectifier. Already we know that half wave rectifier is going to be operate in our first quadrant. That is only one quadrant, and that corresponding quadrant is also first quadrant. Whereas a single phase fully controlled rectifier is going to operate in two quadrants. That's why this drive is going to be known as two quadrant drive. And corresponding quadrants are 1 and 4. Remember these 2 points carefully. Single phase of controlled converter is also known as one quadrant drive. And corresponding one quadrant is first quadrant. Whereas fully converter is known as two quadrant drive. And corresponding two quadrants are 1 and 4. And next, come to our dual converter means it is the combination of two full converters. That means one full converter is going to operate in two quadrants. That means two full converters means it is going to operate in four quadrants. Remember, dual converter is going to be operate in four quadrants. And in the construction point of view, in this dual converter, two fully converters are going to be connected in parallel. In dual converter, two full converters, that is actually here, that means in our second unit, full converter is nothing but full wave rectifier. Remember carefully, here the converter is nothing but rectifier. Whereas in another chapter, it may be a chopper. According to the units, it is going to be modified. So it is DC to AC converter. That's why we are calling, sorry, AC to DC. That's why we are calling it as a rectifier. So here two full converters are going to be connected in anti-parallel connection. And just observe the schematic diagram of this rectifier. That is dual converter fed DC motor drive. And in this dual converter, we have to explain two modes of operation. First is circulating current mode and the second one is non-circulating current mode. Can anyone guess what is circulating current mode and second one is non-circulating current mode? Actually, you are very familiar with these two words. What is circulating current and what is non-circulating current? Can anyone guess what is this? And how you are going to measure the circulating current? Please avoid the disturbance. Okay. So the screen, here we are using two full wave converters and left side you have one converter named it as converter 1. Just wait, I will take the annotation for you. Okay, right. This is the converter 1. It is also a full wave converter. And here supply plus and minus during positive off cycle polarities. And it is another converter. Here we are using two full wave converters. So left hand side is one converter and right hand side is one converter. So we are naming it as converter 1 and converter 2. Please observe the input supply polarities of these two converters. Can you guess these two polarities are same or going to be reversed? Please respond.
Reversed, ma'am.
Yes, if you observe the polarities here, P and N, whereas for converter 2, the polarities are going to be interchanged and corresponding output voltage across the converters are converter 1 output voltage is VA and converter 2 output voltage is VB. And whenever the current is entering into the motor, we have to treat that current as positive. And whenever the current is leaving from the motor, we have to treat it as negative. That means from this converter, you can say that from converter 1, you are getting the output voltage as positive, and from the converter 2, you are getting output voltage as negative. And we are saying that these two are the full wave rectifiers, that is full wave converters. In order to operate any converter, you have to provide the firing angle, that is triggering pulse at different firing angles. And in order to operate this dual converter, we have one limitation, that is firing angles of these two rectifiers is always equal to 180 degrees. Whatever the angle is, whenever you are adding these two firing angles, you must be get at a value of 180. And let us say alpha 1 is the firing angle of converter 1 and alpha 2 is the firing angle of converter 2. So you will get the equation as converter alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 180. And now we will go for the what is circulating current and what is non-circulating current. Actually, you have to explain circulating current mode and non-circulating current mode. First of all, tell me that during positive obstacle of the supply voltage, that is P as positive and N as negative, can you say which thyristors are going to be operate for us?
T1 and T2, ma'am.
Yes, T1 and T2 are going to be operate for converter 1. For the same polarities, that is P as positive, so just wait, P as positive and N as negative. For the same polarities of the supply voltage, for the second converter, P as positive and as negative, which thyristors are going to be operate?
T1 and T2, ma'am.
T1 and T2. Just observe the parameters marking by me. In these two converters, depending upon the polarities of the supply, P as positive and as negative, thyristors T1 and T2 are going to be operated. And corresponding current flowing path for the converter 1 is P thyristor T1, P thyristor T1, our reactance, motor T2 and back to supply. Similarly, for the converter 2, P T1, motor, our reactance back to T2 and back to supply. Can you say, is there any similarity or difference between the output voltages appearing for converter 1 and converter 2? Both are same or any difference is there? And you are going to apply the supply voltage as AC. Is it right? And that means our supply voltage magnitude is constant for both the converters in the left hand side or in the right hand side. That is Vm sin omega t, that is constant value. Can you guess, is there any difference between the voltages VA and VB? Or any similarities between these two voltages VA and VB? Can you guess that? Whenever you are observing that from the motor point of view, you can simply say it is a mirror image. Is it right or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly, observe that. But there is one difference, that is the input polarities are going to be reversed. That means, for example, for converter 1, here you are applying supply voltage as 10 volts. Just imagine the value. And for the converter 2, what the value you are applying? Same plus 10 or minus 10?
Minus
Polarities
10,
are going
ma'am.
to be reversed. So minus 10, you are going to get the supply voltage. For this 10 volts, just I am assuming that 0.5 volts is the losses for the switching losses. That means for converter 1, I am getting 9.5 volts is the maximum voltage for this rective converter 1. Now tell me, what is the maximum voltage you are getting for this converter 2? Same 9.5 or minus 9.5 volts?
Minus 9.5.
Minus 9.5. Exactly, you're right. So remember, from converter 1, you are getting positive voltage, and from converter 2, you are getting negative voltage. From this values of imagination, it is clear to you. And now come to what is circulating current and what is non-circulating current. We are saying that the converter 1 and converter 2 are nothing but just like a mirror image. That means outputs are always same. And by connecting an ammeter across at this position, you can calculate the circulating current. That means whenever there is difference in currents of these two converters, 1 and 2, then the ammeter present at this is going to be deflect some value. Whenever it shows some value, that means the converter 1 current is going to be differ from converter 2. That is non-circulating current mode. If the two currents are same, then this ammeter, that means this meter does not going to indicate any value. Just it is fluctuate at a value of 0. That means the two output currents from these two converters are same. Whenever there is no difference, that is circulating current mode. Whenever there is a difference in between the two currents of the two converter, then the corresponding mode is known as circulating current mode. That means some current is going to be flow across the ammeter. So this is the matter regarding, just what I will avoid this all these annotations, then we will go for the next. So this is regarding circulating and non-circulating current modes. You have to write all this matter like this. That means during positive half cycle of the supply voltage, what are the thyristors are going to be conduct, and how you are going to measure the circulating or non-circulating currents, and what is that, and what is the matter regarding the output voltages across the converter 1 and converter 2. We will go further. So just observe the output waveforms for the dual converter. For example, I am taking the firing angle of converter 1 is 30 degrees. Can you say what is the firing angle of second converter? Right. So this in dual converter, already I have explained to you, the summation of two firing angles is nothing but 180 degrees. If in one converter, if the firing angle is less than 90, means in the another converter, your firing angle must be more than 90. So if alpha 1 is less than 90, means alpha 2 must be always more than 90. And the average output voltage. From the waveforms only, you can say the time periods, that is alpha 1 to pi plus alpha 1 and alpha 2 pi plus alpha 2. We will see from the waveforms. Just we'll go for this. Tell me now itself. Alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is 180. If I say alpha 1 is 30, what about alpha 2?
150.
180 minus 30, 150. Okay. Observe the waveforms. Actually, I think so. The waveforms are very clear to you. Why? Because only 3 waveforms are there, and always we are not bothering about the IC1 and IC2. The waveforms are very clear to you or not? For visualization purpose only. I will explain what is what. Can I move on or can I wait?
Move on, madam.
Right. So the first wave is supply voltage. There's a small mistake here. It is not VN, VS. Just wait. It is a supply voltage, and we are taking it as a sinusoidal voltage. And second waveform is triggering pulses. That is triggering current for converter 1 and converter 2. IC1 is gate current for converter 1. And IG2 is gate current for converter 2. And already we know that we have to indicate the triggering pulses with a rectangular pulse. It means for each half cycle, you have to provide the triggering pulse. First of all, observe the waveform of actually VA and VB. VA is output voltage for the, just wait. So just observe the output voltage of VA. Are you getting any doubt? Why? Because actually the same voltage waveforms are discussed by us in the rectifiers. That means just assume that this firing angle is less than 90. That is 30 or approximately it is 30. You are getting the waveforms like this or not? Or is there any difference is there? Okay, right? Can I explain regarding VA and VB?
Yes, ma'am. Please explain.
Just wait, okay. It is our supply voltage, is it right? And here we are saying that it is the triggering pulse for the thyristor 1, right? Tell me, is it right or not? Is it right or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that means for the first converter, you are going to get the output voltage like this. Is it right or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it right? But a doubt must be erased. Ma'am, actually, whenever you are explaining any rectifier output waveform, our waveforms are just tracing with the input waveform. But why the waveform is drawn like this? A doubt must be erased. Is it right? Why? Because some people are drawing the voltage waveforms like this. Already I have explained to you. Don't draw the waveform like this. Why? Because in practical sense, this waveform does not appear like this. You have to draw the waveform. Just wait, I will draw here in this manner. Okay, it is right. Actually, this waveform is going to be coincide with the practical output waveforms. Okay, so the same thing is going to be repeated for us. It is for converter 1. Next one is converter 2. Can you guess how the waveform is appearing like this? And for the converter 1, I am assuming that the firing angle is less than 90, that is 30 degrees. For converter 2, what is your firing angle? If you please
150 degrees.
respond.
150, ma'am.
150 degrees. In your input voltage, where is 150 degrees? At the starting time or at the ending time of the first half cycle?
Ending time.
At the ending time. That means approximately it is the portion of 150 degrees. Is it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Just wait. I will avoid for the converter 1 output waveform and I will draw for the converter 2. Is it right? It is the angle of 150. Is it right or not? For
Yes, madam.
converter 1, just I am drawing the output voltage. Listen, it is the full wave rectifier, not the half wave rectifier. And in the output voltage does not club the output voltages of each converter. That means don't club the outputs of two converters. Draw the output voltages for these two converters individually. Okay. So can you guess how the waveform is going to be obtained here? Just I am drawing the vertical lines for the firing angles. At which angle we are going to provide the triggering pulses for corresponding thyristors. I am drawing some waveform. Observe the waveform and tell me, is it right or not? Just observe the portion drawn by me for just an half cycle. Then we will go for the next corresponding half cycles also. Our firing angle is 150, so I am taking the firing angle here. Just I am drawn here up to the next triggering pulse. And for each half cycle, you have to provide the triggering pulse. My voice is clearly audible to you or getting any disturbance?
Clearly audible, ma'am.
Right. Actually, the output voltage must be existed like this, but already we know that it is not exactly same to that of the converter 1. It is opposite to the converter 1. That's why we have to draw the in the negative portion. That means from the positive small part is going to be negative, just like this. And negative part is going to be positive, just like this. I will draw very clearly. Just wait, I will draw this. So it is your input voltage. You will get the waveform like this. Now I think so it is very clear to you. It is not VB, it is not VS, it is output voltage of converter 2, that is VB, VA and VB. So I think so now the waveforms are very clear to you, right? So the VA and VB are quite opposite to each other. And can you give the other names for this converter 1 and converter 2? Can you provide any other names? Just guess. Why? Because in a converter 1 mode, positive part is very high and negative part is very, very low. Whereas come to converter 2, positive part is very, very high and negative part is low. Just guess. Can you say, can you give or suggest any name for these two converters? Think it once. Why? Because these two are the rectifiers, and already we have explained, that is, we have learned a full wave rectifier operation in both positive and negative off cycle for corresponding different firing angles. That is, tell me, if the firing angle is going to be increased for an RL load, what happens to corresponding waveforms? Negative part is going to be increased or decreased?
Increased, ma'am.
Negative part is going to be increased. Why? Because just think it once. I am showing with my finger. Just imagine. If firing angle is 0, you will get the continuous waveform. If firing angle is 30, we are going to get a small spike in the negative part. If the firing angle is 60, you are going to get some extra spike, negative spike. If firing angle is next 90, you will get more negative spike. Similarly, whenever you are going to increase the firing angle for RL load in a full wave rectifier, negative voltage, that means the voltage waveform appearing because of the RL load is going to be increased. So in this mode, can I say the rectifier is going to be operate in the inverting mode? Why? Because output voltage is most of it is negative. Rectifier opposite operation, inverting, not in the principle of operation, just output is going to be differ. That's why we are explaining two modes in a full wave rectifier, rectification mode and inversion mode. Inversion. If alpha is less than 90, it comes to the rectification mode. If alpha is more than 90, just recollect the statements which you have learned in our first semester. If alpha is less than 90, you are saying it as rectification mode. If alpha is more than 90, we are saying it is the inversion mode. That's why in these two converters, you can say one as a rectification mode operating converter and second one is inversion mode operating converter. That means whenever converter 1 is operating in rectification mode, converter 2 is going to be operating inversion mode, right? So just waveforms. Already we know that converter 1 and converter 2 are constructed just like a mirror image. That's why the output waveforms are drawn like this. The left hand side portion is converter 1 and it is converter 1 and it is converter 2. Not A1 and A2, it is alpha 1 and alpha 2. And V01, V02 are the output voltages for the dual converter, that is the converter 1 and converter 2. Just it is a simple layout of the output voltages. Observe the waveforms very clearly. First one is the supply voltage. Actually, we have to draw the output waveforms like this. First one is the supply voltage. First waveform. Just wait, I will take the annotation. Then it will be clear to you. First one is the supply voltage. V is equal to Vm sin omega t. And second one is converter 1 output voltage, that is VA. Just observe the waveform. Less than 30, you will get the waveform like this. It is also converter 1. And next, this is converter 2 output voltage. See this. Converter 2 output voltage. In the zooming point of view, converter 2 output voltage. And finally, it is the voltage generated in circulating current. Why? Because if the circulating current is going to be existed, then some voltage is also going to be generated. That corresponding voltage is shown here. And if it is a non-circulating current mode, that means at this current mode, there is no voltage is going to be generated. Listen, and here no need of draw this voltage generating in circulating current. Just for our convenience, I am drawing here. I am representing here. And listen, for this circulating current mode only, you are going to get some voltage. And in non-circulating current mode, there is no possibility of getting any voltage because there is no current here. Now the waveforms. From alpha 1 to pi plus alpha 1. And alpha 2 to pi plus alpha 2. Why? Because you are saying alpha 1 is the firing angle of converter 1 and alpha 2 is firing angle of converter 2. And in full wave rectifier, you have to take the time period of pi, 180 degrees. That's why you are getting, for converter 1, your duration is alpha 1 to pi plus alpha 1. Whereas converter 2, alpha 2 to pi plus alpha 2. It is a simple derivation and it is very familiar with us. And you will get the full wave, for a full wave rectifier, the output voltage as 2Vm by pi into cos alpha. And for this converter 1, alpha 1. And don't say it as Vm1 and Vm2. Why? Because there is no different inputs for these two converters. The same input, one is positive and another one is negative. That's why Vm is same for us. 2Vm by pi in 2Vm by pi. Only firing angles are going to be different. That's why alpha 1 and alpha 2. Just observe the screen. If anyone asks what is the difference between circulating and non-circulating current mode, just the differences. No problem. I will provide the complete PPTs for you. So just observe the screen. And listen, just listen my words and observe the screen. For a particular time, only converter 1 is operating and converter 2 is not operating. Then will you get any circulating current or not? Only one converter is going to be operated. Then what about that? Obviously, whenever these two converters are operating simultaneously and there is no difference in the output currents, then only circulating current comes. And I am saying that only converter 1 is operating and converter 2 is not operating. That means obviously there is the difference. So some value of circulating current is flows. And the inductance present in this dual converter is known as limiting reactance, which help the limiting reactance to operate these two converters simultaneously. And if the limiting reactance is not present in your circuit, then it does not able to operate these two converters simultaneously. So just observe the screen, that is differences. What about the losses, efficiency and present? And can you justify how this dual converter is going to be operate in 4 quadrants? Just the full wave converter is operate in 1 and 4 quadrants. 1 and 4, just 2 quadrant drive. So that how can we say it will going to operate in 4 quadrants? My question is clear to you. So think it once. I will clarify this question. And in the next class, just observe the problem. I think so this you can solve this problem by yourself. But no problem. If you can't solve, I will solve the problem in the next class and we will discuss it. Just observe the problem. That means how the problem is given to you and what you have to calculate. Can anyone read the problem? Anyone, please? Okay, no problem. Anyone? $230. Are you listening my words? Okay, just see the screen. I will read it. A 200 volts, 875 RPM and 150 amperes. That is input voltage, corresponding speed and current of separately excited DC motor has an armature resistance of 0.06 ohms. That is armature resistance RA value is given to you. It is fed from a single phase fully controlled rectifier with an AC source of 220 volts. That means for a rectifier, you are applying VM as 220 and frequency as 50. Assuming continuous conduction mode. That means it is going to operate in continuous conduction mode. Calculate firing angle for rated motor torque at 750 RPM. That means first of all, you have to calculate the firing angle. But there is a small difference is there. Actually, your motor is going to be rotated at 875 RPM. But in the problem, he is asking to calculate at a speed of 750. You have to calculate the firing angle. And your second question is at rated torque. That means at the same parameter, motor speed for firing angle of 160. That means the firing angle is going to be changed. That is alpha as 160. At this condition, you have to calculate the motor speed. So finally, at one condition, you have to calculate the firing angle, and at another condition, you have to calculate the speed. Just observe what the data given for us. That is armature voltage VA as 220, speed as 875, armature current as 150 from the given problem only. The data is written like this. So first question is, what is the value of firing angle alpha when the motor is rotating at rated torque and speed is 750? And second one is alpha is 160. What is your speed? So it is the question asked for us. Just think it once how it will be going to be solved. And the solution is explained by me in the next class. And now we will discuss how this dual converter is going to be operate in 4 quadrants.